Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I just cleaned the barn and gave these girls back some straw, let them wrestle through it, and then tonight I'll add another bale on top for them to have a nice fresh bedding. I normally do not leave it this close to lambing to clean this out, and I did clean it out previous to this, but with this cold snap that we've been having, it just got absolutely disgustingly nasty in here. So I had to clean out the pack, otherwise I'd start having bacteria within it. It was soaking wet. You can see on the walls, it's still quite wet in here, but it'll dry out. It's about -15 today. It's actually quite warm, and thankfully they've been able to be outside and this has dried out a little bit. So yeah. Not looking forward to the next couple of days. We're back in the -20s as a high. Like, it's just absolutely stupid how this isn't giving up. It is what it is. We just have to deal with it. Mother Nature will not give us a break until I think it's the middle of next week when we start getting back to seasonal temps. So that'll be nice. Anyway, I'll give you a quick little show of these girls. So they're growing these babies, and their due date is 2 days from now. I don't think there's going to be anybody like right on the due date, but you never know. We are getting some pretty crazy udder development. I'm getting some there. There's a few, but I don't think they're going to be right on like I expected. Hey Kissy, you going to give me Valentine's babies? Probably not. But yeah, so in the bed pack in my little barn here, I put stall dry down, and then I put a bag of shavings, sometimes two. Did a bag and a half today. Just what I found with putting the shavings underneath is it pulls the moisture down versus letting it sit on top. And then as it's keeping it within the pack, it's fermenting, which is causing heat, which keeps the barn warm. Yeah, I do have a heater in here. I try not to use it if I don't have to. But yeah, there's getting to be some big girls. The babies are kicking like little banshees when they're up eating. These purple tags, which are the second lambers, they're carrying really low this year. So I'm not sure why that is. But yeah, I normally don't leave this close to lambing to clean out. I think I mentioned that. It was so wet in here that I had no other option. And it was so cold up until today that I couldn't have them outside for that long, considering they've been in the barn, and it was windy and snowing. And anyway, and it wouldn't have dried out in here anyway. So -15 today, can still see my breath. Had them outside, got this all cleaned out, left it open for about an hour, and the concrete dried right up. So we're just working with what we got. Well, that's one way to get your first colostrum in your belly. Lay like a frog. Two girls to start out lambing. Valentine's babies. The September, October lambs are pretty happy to get outside after this cold snap. Check everything out. Apparently the snowdrift is lots of fun. Hey boys, does that sun feel pretty good? So normally these lambs would have already been sold, but I'm actually waiting on Ramadan before I sell them, which is next week. And one of them is actually being sold as a ram prospect. Actually, two of them might be. Oh, that wasn't very smart. Maggie, come. Feels good to stretch their legs. They have plenty of room in the barn, but it's not the same as being outside and being able to run and play. Been locked in for, well, 3 weeks of cold. Just pen space for one, and two, just to keep them warm so they grow, and I think we succeeded. Like Monster there, wherever. He's huge. Oh, so happy. Not only are the sheep happy, I am happy. This is so nice out today. I'm so glad that this cold snap finally broke. The southeast wind the last 4 days, something like that, has been just absolutely retarded. And my house water was froze, still is froze. I cracked a pipe, so I gotta fix that after cleaning the shop today. And yeah, just was not good. But thankfully, I can say it now that the weather has broke. Thankfully, the automatic waters did okay. Had a couple of issues with the heat tape on the one, and I put a heat bulb underneath there, and it survived. It didn't freeze at all in this last stretch. I'll have to remember to turn that off today, though. The heat bulb, I mean. Anyway, let's get to work. All right, so I'm all cleaned out and got 4 of the 6 ewes that have lambed moved over to this barn. The boys are all cleaned out too. So this one had twins. I've taken one of them because she doesn't have enough milk for 2. That's Annie. She's kind of another story. She was mom's bottle baby from a few years ago, so we just kind of, this will be her last year likely. And then this number 15, she had triplets, and that's Tiny Tina, the other bottle baby. Then we got those set of twins and these set of twins. I always line the walls with straw because they like to lay against something, so at least they're laying against the straw versus laying against concrete on the pony wall in this. So yeah, they use it as a play area, which is okay with me because it does provide lots of cuteness. Annie will likely get called. She was part of a quad. She was like 1.8 pounds or something when she was born, or around 2 pounds. So yeah, so she's always been a smaller ewe, but yeah, she doesn't need to get kept anymore. I've got enough other really good producers that I don't have to feed up like crazy for the lambs. So it's time. And same thing with these wool ewes right here. They're 8 this year. I believe they're 9th lambers being 8. So it's time. They're still really good moms. Like this set of triplets, they were all really small. I think they were 8.5, 7.5, and 5.5 pounds or something. So it wasn't good. That they put so much into their lambs that they end up really getting skinny and losing condition. Like they look good right now because all their wool, but yeah, they don't hold their conditions. So I think it's time for those old girls to go. I've gotten some really good replacements from them for as far as the commercials, which I'll show you here. So like this ewe here, she's half Dorper and half of these wool breeds now. I don't remember exactly which one. It was either 9 or number 11. That was her mother from a ram, a registered Dorper ram. Now, I find that if I was to keep a lamb off of these ones, so I have a whole bunch of these crosses, like I'm sure you've seen them in the flock, they're all brown or kind of a combination of brown. Off of these wool ewes with a Dorper ram and then bred back to a Dorper, I'm finding those to be the best producers as far as the meat market. They're really fast growing. Yeah, they have them on their own, mostly twins, but do get triplets out of them too. And quads as well. I have another number 34 had quads twice now actually. So it's an outstanding cross from what I've seen. The ewes are still medium sized, but like their lambs are finished by 3.5, 4 months old. They're ram lambs, I should say. When I say my finishing weights on my lambs, I'm usually just referring to my ram lambs. Hey, that's enough. So because this ewe is a first-time mom, she's pretty protective over her lambs, and this one got a little too close for her liking. So they're not hurting each other. If they do get mean, I will separate them. But these lambs can take a lot. Like, it's amazing actually how much they can take. I mean, you don't want it obviously, but yeah, I'm still trying to figure out the genetics that I want. One thing I have noticed over the years is that a ram that I had years ago, his name was Wrinkles. He's kind of the stock for the Dorpers. We had a Dorper ram before that, but he did okay, but he wasn't, you know, this Wrinkles ram that I refer to. He's been outstanding. I believe he was full blood. I never got papers on him. And so I used him for a lot of the stock. Does mean more to shear, but they're part way shedding. Like, she will shed out, you can see on her bottom of her belly there, her belly and her sides. So I just have to shear a little bit more than versus these Dorpers that I usually just have to shear like along the hip there and then along the back. You can see actually on this ewe along the back there and right there is exactly where I sheared last year. And then obviously these wool ones, they have to be fully sheared. But yeah, I like to clean them up. They do partway shed, but I do shear anyway, so it all works out when they can produce a ram lamb for me that'll be finished in 3.5 or 4 months. That's my kind of breakdown on it. I do really love these Dorpers. I have better options of Dorpers than looking at her, but I do really love them. Why I keep them going, they're great mothers. The lambs are just, they jump up and right to the tit. So, but these crosses are really nice too. I do like these crosses as far as the meat production. So yeah, I let these guys chill out till chore time. Let them get to know each other, and the babies will be playing by tomorrow morning. They'll all have their pecking order figured out. The other two that lambed they only lambed last night, so I'm not going to push them and move them over today. It's going to be just as nice tomorrow. So yeah, it'll be nice to have a few more over here and clean that barn out a little bit more. I was running out of pen space, but now I got 4 more pens, so they're just so cute. So for anybody who doesn't know, the Dorper breed does come from South Africa originally. And they're known to be fast producing, great mothers. Like, that's what they're aimed for. I won't say that they're good with parasites. There definitely is ways of managing that. I do garlic salt blocks, and that seems to help a little bit. And I'm getting more into rotational grazing. I've done a little bit, but I need to get honed in on my skills. So with doing that, hopefully I can help with their parasite load. My flock is pretty good, but some people really complain about the Dorpers. But I do find that garlic helps a little bit. I mean, it's not a complete fix by any means when they're so sick, that they're so full of worms that you gotta worm them. But for the most part, they're pretty hardy. It just shocks me all the time how tough these lambs are and how tough the mothers are for being, you know, meant to be in arid, dry places. And South Africa, I know a lot of people in Texas have them, and down in the southern states. So So it's quite cool to see them to be able to come to our temperatures here and just absolutely thrive. Like, I was looking after the weather broke this morning, I was looking at those lambs. I mean, I've looked at them over, but they were so hunched up and cold and hiding in the shed, so you don't get a really good look at them, but they kept eating. They did really, really good, and they're I can't believe how much they've grown, even just in the last 24 hours, just with the weather warming up. So that sun feels so nice right now. That cold snap lasted way too long. I was fed up. I was done. I was so tired. Mom was so tired from helping with chores because I've been lambing and just stuff going on. So Daisy's being an absolute moron back there. But yeah, I'm so glad that they did as well as they did. Like, I honestly can't say enough for how tough the Dorpers are. Again, they're meant to be in deserts, dry, arid African deserts. So the one thing I will say about them is that they get really fat in my program. The grass in central Alberta here is actually really, really good. So I find that they get a little too fat and bring down my lambing numbers when I don't decide to basically, I make them lose weight during their lactation, but they still manage to gain weight looking at a sprig of grass. So yeah, that's one thing that I'm really struggling with. But I mean, we're still at 2 or just over 2%, 2 lambs per ewe. So that's actually pretty good for Dorpers, because I believe they're 1.6 to 1.7 lambs per ewe as a breed standard. Now, the reason I have higher is because I do have those crosses in there. They do add an increase, so I'm going to play around with some genetics over the next couple of years, and hopefully I'm still doing this YouTube thing and being able to share the story along with everybody, because I'm quite intrigued to play with the genetics and see what else I can make happen with these Dorpers. So, but anyhow, I'm going to go enjoy the last of the sunshine. I think my bottle lambs are still out playing. I'll have to go put them back in. Little turds, they were housebound too, which I can't blame them. We all were. Oh, Daisy. She's so crazy. But anyway, I'm gonna get going here, get the rest of the stuff I got to finish up, do chores, and go in and repair that water line in my house so that I can go have a hot shower, and hopefully there'll be more lambs tonight. So anyway, thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.